Hey, Chance, how you doing? Thank you, Benny. Benny guy got me on this thing, doing this thing. My name is Tyrone Booth, former WBO cruiserweight champ of the world. For some of the big champions in boxing back in the day. And I'm here with my man, John Greenburg.
We're the Boots buddies.
We said we're the Booth buddies. We're something.
That's right.
So what we're gonna do is talk about MMA and talk about
the world of boxing and MMA and combat sports in general.
Right, and what we would like, to hear response back from the public, hopefully, to tell us about this. And we want to do this every Wednesday. We will be here again,
uploading it onto YouTube.
And again, keep watching because this is going to be a great show here. And John, we want to talk today about the state of MMA today, okay? And I know you follow that. I'm involved with a little bit of MMA and just training the boxing. Go ahead, John.
Well, we've got UFC 207 coming up December 30th, and the feature attraction is Ronda Rousey. Yes, Ronda Rousey returning to the height of the octagon. She's going to be taking on Amanda Nunes. And Amanda defeated Holly Holm, who defeated Ronda Rousey. So this is a championship match. That will be on December 30th. We're all going to be anxiously waiting to see what happens. Because the MMA world, we'd really like to see Ronda Rousey take on Chris Cyborg. They would like to see her take that 125-pounder on. Ronda, of course, is a 135-pounder. But I think eventually that fight is going to happen.
Okay. What do you think about the state of MMA? And one thing I gotta say that you do have a lot of women in that sport in MMA.
Absolutely. Far more than boxing.
Right. And then when we talk about boxing, we talk about the former boxer Muhammad Ali's daughter, okay, who used to be a fighter, and then the girl that we talked about is another girl, right? And then Christy Mine. Then we talk about Clarissa Shields, who's the only fighter that has won 2 Olympic gold medals. So you understand,
she's about to make a pro debut.
Right, and she has done a lot of big things in boxing. With winning a medal, winning 2 gold medals, and the only athlete that has done that has only been her who has done that.
So, women's involvement in boxing, but at the same time, Ronda Rousey brought a lot of women to MMA because they were buying her pay-per-views.
Well,
she was a big star, and then she lost to Holly Holm, but it's not over with for her. She had knee surgery, she's been out for a while, and now she's going to have this return fight with
Right. Well, the thing that Ronda Rousey got to remember that she has to learn. She has to learn how to box.
Right.
Because the thing that all MMA fighters have not learned yet is the boxing technique of the sport.
That's right.
Okay, and that's to stand up. A lot of them are used to wrestling.
Right, and they're also used to having to worry about kicking. If you're trying to kick somebody, your stance is not going to be the same.
Right. And usually their stance are not right because they're getting kicked and they grappling. Right.
They have to get used to kicking and taking people down and grappling with them. So it's a more complicated sport because you have to worry about so many more things that your opponent.
Right, and you have to do so much in the MMA with grappling, wrestling, and boxing. and kicking.
Right.
There's so many things that you do in MMA, and that you got, and in boxing, the only thing that you do, you stand up and throw your hand. Okay, I wouldn't be a good MMA fighter. I'm telling you that now. I'll bite somebody
Right.
eventually.
Okay, but the point is that you didn't get introduced to it as a kid. If you had been introduced to it when you were 10, 12 years old, 14 years old, it would be a whole different situation.
Right. And in the day's sport, when kids usually come in, they don't come into just a regular boxing gym anymore. They come into an MMA gym and wanting to learn how to fight. They say, I want to learn how to fight, whatever they tell the coaches that trains them, and they end up into MMA, and they end up into they wrestle and kicking and all those things like that instead of just boxing. I'm not knocking MMA.
No, it's just the way that everything has evolved. There's far more MMA gyms around. There's far more martial arts gyms around than there are boxing gyms.
Yes. And the day that I was coming up, back in the day, it was a lot more boxing gyms. Everybody had a boxing gym. And that's what you got into. You really got into boxing back in the day. But the day sport that you get into is MMA.
Where is the grassroots? The grassroots today is with MMA. MMA, karate, martial arts, that's the grassroots. Because the police athletic leagues, the Catholic youth organizations, all these, they're out of the picture.
Well, at one time you had all those people that were connected. Like you said, the police athletic league and the Catholic, yeah, right. They were all connected to boxing.
Right.
Okay, and that's what they did with boxing. And I think that's what some of the days police are not getting the respect that they want because they're not involved no more with the kids no more.
Unfortunately, that's a sad situation, but that's true.
Right, and people basically now, people are not thinking at all. They just go out there now and put a gun in their hand and then they gunning for a cop.
That's not an answer to anything. Violence is not an answer, but getting back to the grassroots, how do you grow a sport? You got to go out and reach out to the kids.
Right, the kid that's growing up, who's looking at a sport, who's following a sport. I remember at one time you had amateur boxing was at one time on TV. It was real big. Real big. You got a chance to see some of the top fighters who come around and fight in the Olympics. But the last great Olympic team that I saw, the best Olympic team that I saw, I thought was Sugar Ray Leonard, Howard Davis, and the Spinks brothers. Okay, and John Tate.
1976.
Okay, that was 1976. And then, Evander Holyfield and those guys, Pradell Whitaker, Ron Greenland, and all those guys came in. 84 Olympic team that fought here in Los Angeles, right here in America. And they were a great Olympic boxing team. And then after that, you didn't see anything else after that, okay? And then you had guys who knew how to move fighters back then, okay? And it's just a completely different sport. Again, MMA, it seemed like it has took it over and getting some big shots and doing some big things in MMA now. And we hopefully, again, our program is based on, why these guys loving MMA so much. And then our stories of, we're talking about boxing, like the Klitschko and Joshua, the guy from England. A lot of people don't know about. You got a heavyweight out there that is real good that's over in England. And then you got Anthony Joshua, a great big heavyweight.
Nigerian descent. He's in England, right? 18-0 with 18 knockouts.
And he's a good fighter.
He is. He's an excellent fighter.
He's a good fighter.
Now they got this fight set up for April 29th of 2017 at Wembley Stadium, 90,000 seats. They're going to try to fill them. They're going to try to put it on pay-per-view. But for boxing, they have all these different sanctioning organizations. So Anthony Joshua holds the IBF belt Klitschko doesn't hold any belt, but he is Mr. Credibility. He is the guy you have to beat if you want to become credible. There's talk now that Deontay Wilder, who holds the WBC belt, that he is going to fight on the undercard.
Okay.
And he's going to fight a New Zealander named Joseph, who's going to fight Joseph Parker from New Zealand, who won a belt. And all of this is leading up to hopefully a unification bout for the heavyweight division. The winner of those two, they will face off, and then there will be a title unification.
Okay. And again, we haven't seen a unification on the title since Mike Tyson.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And Mike Tyson again was one of the most dynamic fighters back in the day that I got a chance of growing up with. Okay, even though I grew up, my growing up with boxing was Muhammad Ali. Everybody loved Muhammad Ali, and everybody thought they were going to be the part of that. That scene of being the heavyweight and being the Muhammad Ali back in the day. Now boxing has changed another color now. Okay. You got a lot of these guys that are coming from England that can fight. At one time, we thought that they couldn't fight at one time. These guys are better conditioned, better fighters now. And it's just like, and another thing about boxing is you got Conor McGregor is still thinking about coming into boxing, but the thing is what would you fight under? Are you going to fight under MMA rules, or are you going to fight under the boxing rules of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather ever fight? And I don't think that they will ever fight.
Well, Conor McGregor, from the age of 12 to 16, was trained to be a boxer, and he fought in amateur fights. So Conor McGregor has experience in boxing, and he's one of the hardest punchers in MMA. He's got a dynamite left hand. Now you're right, the chances of Floyd Mayweather facing him in the ring under boxing rules, that's remote. Because Conor McGregor has issues with the Nevada Athletic Commission. He has penalties because of an incident of throwing bottles at his opponent Diaz. And they've got to resolve that issue before he can be allowed to fight in Nevada. But then again, Conor McGregor he's the most popular performer right now. Even more popular than Ronda Rousey. And if he's willing to go in and fight some recognized boxers in the welterweight division, he could get some big paydays. He might not get $100 million, but he could get several $1 million. He could get $25 million.
Okay.
He fought the right guy.
And that's the kind of money he's looking for, right?
He is.
Okay.
Because the MMA purses are not up to the level of the Pacquiao-Mayweather.
Okay. I gotta say this, boxing does get some big paydays, but the thing is, is boxing gonna give a guy like Conor McGregor the opportunity to fight for that kind of money? And what rules would you fight under? Okay?
Let's pretend that it would be boxing, because he would go into the ring. He knows what it is to box. And he's not going to fight for 10 months because he's going to go through the birth of his first child. And he's announced that he's not going to fight until the latter part of 2017. So that could give him enough time.
The training get right for boxing, you're saying. Okay. And the fight, and the only fight he's talking about is Mayweather. There's nobody else he's talking about.
But then again, there's a possibility that somebody else can come in and say, I will fight you, and you can line up, and we'll have a big payday.
Okay.
And out of curiosity, I think a lot of people would buy the pay-per-view.
And what's the young lady that we talking about also tonight? The one who just talking about the top amateur. What's her name? Okay, that's what you're talking about that will fight. The two women that will fight.
Well, we're talking about Ronda Rousey.
Right, Ronda Rousey. That's it.
The MMA.
Right.
207, UFC 207 on December 30th.
Okay. Is Ronda Rousey gonna fight? Is she gonna fight?
This is an MMA contest.
Okay.
Amanda Nunes.
Okay.
Who holds the title?
Okay.
The 135 pounds.
Okay. And again, the thing that helped hurt Ronda Rousey, I think, was that she couldn't box. Okay, right. And you know what? The thing that hurt her was her boxing skills. No boxing skills at all. Okay, she didn't show me no boxing skills at all. When she got you in that grab, when she that arm bar, she beat you. That was it. You lost. Right. But Holly Holm hit her with some good blows too. Okay, she punched her with some good blows. And again, I think a lot of MMA fighters who come into MMA, they forget when you standing up, you gotta learn how to box first, because a little bit of your fight is boxing. Okay, you gotta do a little bit of boxing, you gotta do a little bit of grappling and wrestling and kicking and stuff like that there. But you gotta know what's gonna get you over and winning these fights.
Give you a competitive edge. Give you something that most of them don't have.
Right.
And most MMA fighters are not great boxers. So if you can master that part of it, then you'll have a competitive edge. You'll have a big advantage.
Right. So the first thing you do when you come out, the first thing you do, you stand up. So the first thing that you should learn is to box. You understand? Because that's the first thing you do out of the whole program is to learn that, is to stand up, is to box. Learn how to box. And I noticed that a lot of MMA people kind of shy away from that. They do everything else, but they don't like the boxing part of it.
I think a lot of martial artists, a lot of kids that are getting into martial arts, they find it more comfortable at first to be kicking something.
Okay, so that they're comfortable with the kicking part of the sport. Okay, but they should learn how again, and I'm not just saying because
you don't have to be that close to somebody to kick them.
Right. But I'm not just saying it because, I want you to box.
You've got short arms.
Right.
You're not inclined to be going inside on somebody and getting a fist in your face.
Right.
Having your
Right.
face filled with leather.
Right, but you got to learn how to box. You got to learn how to box.
Absolutely.
You got to learn how to
It's
box.
like trying to be a complete baseball player. Okay, when you're a complete baseball player, you've got to be able to hit, and you've got to be able to run the bases, and you've got to be able to catch the ball, field the ball, and get off a throw to one of your teammates. So if you're going to be an MMA fighter, you have got to be able to handle all of the various aspects of MMA. You've got to be able to strike, you gotta be able to take people down, you gotta be able to grapple, you gotta have the ground game.
Exactly.
You have all facets of it, you gotta be able to kick.
And then the crazy part is that you have to be able to mix it all up.
Right.
You can't be able to just punch and kick. You can't be able to go through and punch, kick, and then take someone down. You got to be able to punch them, take them down, be able to create a scramble, be able to knee them. You got to be able to mix everything up together in one facet.
And this is what I want to do to the public today. His name is Roberto.
Santiago.
Roberto Santiago. And also, he's a new kid. He's up here at USC Gym in Clearwater, and he can go give you some information, a lot of information on MMA. And that is why I called him in to sit down, to talk about the MMA and talk about why guys like himself, who I think can be a hell of a boxer, but he chose MMA. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking MMA. I think that he could be a hell of a boxer. Okay, but he chose MMA, and he can give you a lot of information on the things about MMA. Okay, all right. So here you go.
What was it that appealed to you?
So, in the beginning, growing up, it was always, for at least my generation, it was always when MMA was in Japan and Pride, and it was when foot stomp, and we were like, what is this? Like, we've been told our whole lives we were never able to wrestle and fight, and
Right.
I was like, for some reason I could do that. So I started at
So
30.
you felt free.
Yeah, I was like,
more liberated.
it felt like when you're a kid and you go through life and it's like chains are on you, so you have to like rip those chains off.
You don't want the rules.
Yeah, there's no rules, and when I found MMA, I was like, there's no rules on this.
So how old are you?
21.
You're 21. Okay. So you're way past the Bruce Lee.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
But when Bruce Lee came out, it was a big breakthrough.
Yeah,
Because he was not a big guy,
exactly.
and he was Asian.
Yeah, and he was able to go and beat up majority bigger dude, and everyone was like, "How is this even happening? How did this go?" But when I went through MMA, I started in kickboxing and boxing, and instantly I knew I gravitated towards boxing. I loved it, but I was also doing jiu-jitsu, so I was like, if I'm gonna put so much time into grappling, I might as well go, because on the up and up at the time, I mean, MMA was not even as big when I was 13 as it is now.
No,
Not at all. And
it
I was
wasn't
like,
structured.
no, and on top of that as well. So I was like, you know what? Like, I need to go with this train. Wherever this MMA stuff will take me, I need to go. So I just looked at it as like, this is a good opportunity for me. I'll be able to be in an industry where it's constantly growing, and it's not even at its highest point.
No, it's just actually, it's probably just got some traction within the last 6 years.
Yeah, completely. And so that's what kind of gravitated toward me. And then I wrestled in high school. I had some uncles, and I had some of my friends that wrestled, and I used to try it out. I was like, you know what? I've done some jiu-jitsu. I was like, I'll try it out. I fell in love with wrestling, just like I fell in love with boxing. And instantly, I was like, MMA it is. I was like, I never wanted to stop wrestling. Once I wrestled once, I was like, I want to wrestle the rest of my life. This is awesome. And to me, there's boxing sparring, and then MMA wrestling practice. Those are my two favorite. Boxing sparring and MMA wrestling practices. So
What about the
kicking I enjoy, but it's been the last year that I've been actually working on it and actually trying to be able to throw it in fights and being able to be comfortable with it. It was something that I was like, on top of that, I don't have as well flexibility as normal people do. So it was a lot of stretching, it was a lot of yoga, it was a lot of discipline on the bag, it was a lot of not trying to throw fast, where naturally I was already a fast fighter, so I had to throw slower, I had to throw technical. Exactly.
You want to be accurate.
Exactly. So MMA, for especially guys like me, I know my generation, we were the generation to see MMA and be like, wow, there's a possibility in this. There's a lifestyle in this. There's a career in this.
Probably before you were born, you started World Combat. You would hold a tournament in one day.
Then it'd be no weight classes, no rules,
No rules.
no throwing strikes, no fighting, and no eye gouging. Have fun. And and I tell people all the time, if I would have grew up back then, I probably would have been a boxer. Because as Tyrone says, boxing is, and I probably watch more boxing than I do MMA, completely. But that's just me as a person. I think boxing as a craft in itself is phenomenal. MMA, you don't have to be great at one thing, not at all. You just have to be good at everything. You have to be well-rounded. Boxing, there's no you can't cut any corners. Even if you hit hard, you still have guys that you can't hit. You have guys that are as fast and hit hard. And at the end of the day, it's 6 punches. That's it. And you got to learn those 6 punches. You got to learn how your style is, and that's it. And I love that. It's like an art. So I've always looked at boxing as like MMA is great, but in my eyes, boxing more elite because you're learning one aspect and you're having to break down that one aspect so much to be at a high level.
So that you could be in a certain position
Exactly.
against your opponent.
Exactly.
To avoid getting
Exactly. You know, everyone in MMA, like, that's why they say styles make fights. You can have a guy that is just a wrestler, has no striking, go against somebody that's just a striker. There's a mismatch. For either one, there's a mismatch.
right. It's not going to make for a good-looking fight.
Exactly. So now you go boxing. He's been working the same, essentially the same thing you have been working. Let's see whose game plan gets in better.
And again, you may get a counter puncher
Exactly.
against the boxer.
Exactly.
And you're going to see lack of action.
Exactly. Or you'll see where it's like two like the Mexican style fighters where they just boom. They meet in the center, they touch gloves, and they don't move. We're not moving from here. We're staying right here. So, and I like that. I like it like that. You get to see different traits on how people want to fight. And MMA, it's at sometimes it's like, okay, these guys are the same. These guys are exactly the same. Let's see who's going to be tougher. Let's see who's going to get the better punch.
And then you wind up with a lot of ground pounding, a lot of action.
Exactly.
That just doesn't make for big action.
So it's at a deficit where high-level boxing, the norm amount of people don't understand it. So you're at a stalemate where they won't punch, or people are getting missed, and they're like, no one's getting hit. So then audiences don't like it. Then you go to MMA. People don't really understand the grappling aspect. So if you get two guys that are on the ground and pounding each other, like you said, and they're going after just grappling fights, people don't like it. So, I mean, fans are fans and critics are critics, but
Well, it can be said for any sport.
anything, exactly.
Any NFL game.
Yeah, you have a low-scoring NFL game. Oh, that game sucked. It was horrible. But it was a great defense.
Tremendous defense.
Exactly. Like, and if you look at the nitty-gritty, like, that's one of the best games I've ever played. That's amazing. Not a blowout game. You know, like, I get slugfest. I get that. Everyone loves a good slugfest here and there. But at the end of the day, when you do this and you see high level, you understand people's craft and you can appreciate it. So I think.
What about the point that where did the elite athletes go?
And that's what I was going to base off of. A lot of the elite athletes now is what we're seeing in MMA. We're seeing elite kickboxers. We're seeing elite karate guys. We're seeing elite wrestlers. And that's why MMA is growing so much more, because elite wrestlers, you either go be a wrestling coach at a college or go to the Olympics. If you can't make the Olympics, then you got to get a regular job. Elite wrestlers,
WWE.
yeah, or
real wrestling.
exactly, they don't want to deal with that. So their next best step is, well, I got to learn how to punch and go to MMA. So it's an easier way. Karate guys, they're realizing I don't have that much money. MMA, these guys don't even know how to really get in and out. Okay, I'm going to go to MMA. That's where I can make some money. Kickboxers. Kickboxing's not as big. Well, I'm going to ride the coattails of MMA. Now, that is why we're starting to see it grow more. We're seeing more and more elite athletes. We're seeing more football players. We're seeing more of like rugby players, hockey players that are turning into fighters. And when you get to that elite level of NHL, NFL, a college football player, all it ends up being is learning and drilling, just like they've done all their life. Learn, drill, compete. Learn, drill, compete. Football player, learn, drill, compete. All you have to do.
And then there's also the aspect of doing the octagon by yourself.
Exactly. Now that's the other thing where you see certain football players and other guys that come from other sports. You kind of see so much of like the pressure get to them because they've only had to worry about this much. Yeah, this much when it comes to competition. Now they have to worry about 150%. It's wrong.
It's all on them.
Yeah, it's no one else. There's nobody else in there. There's nobody. The ref can't help you. The coaches can't help you. It's you. So you kind of see that they don't deal with the pressure as well when karate guys, kickboxers, certain boxers from a young age, and you see wrestlers, they've dealt with combat sport one-on-one their whole life. So one-on-one combat is nothing to them. They're like, okay, well, you can punch me now. Okay, I can punch you now. So here we go. And that's why you're seeing MMA grow more, and kids at a young age, kids at a young age nowadays, they have so many choices. Because they see, well, if I go into karate, I can still get to the UFC. If I go into wrestling, I can get to the UFC. If I go into boxing, I can still get to the UFC. I'm learning at a young age. So many littler kids, and so many kids nowadays, 12, 13, 14, are like, I want to be in the UFC. I see Conor McGregor. I see Jose Aldo. I see all these high stars. I want to be like them. When you could look at Chocolatito, if Chocolatito walked in here, there'd be maybe 5 of us that would know who he was. If Canelo Alvarez walked in here, there'd be maybe 10 of us that knew who he was. Boxers just aren't getting that stardom. They're not getting that star effect. Unless you're Floyd Mayweather. But then that's totally different. Exactly. When
39 years old and pretty much out of it.
Yeah,
Almost.
He's done it. And it gets to a point where that's why, like Joe Rogan has said before, he's like, if Vladimir Klitschko walked into an airplane, nobody would know who he was. They'd be like, who is that tall basketball player? But they wouldn't realize he's the heavyweight champion of the world. Like former heavyweight, you know what I'm saying? Like one of the best boxers to ever live. And I just think that's why kids are getting at that, because the boxing push isn't there anymore. It was in the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Free television.
Yeah. And then majority of the time people look at that free television, and 9 times out of 10 they're high level guys. So now we're at a stalemate. Now there's not much action. So now they're like, I don't want to watch that. I'll flip television. So that's what it comes to.
You got enough.
Okay, here's my man talking today, and we're going to put it out there, put it on the radio, and get this thing going. And I hope he has explained a lot to you, Roberto, the up-and-coming fighter. We hope to be #1. We are going to be #1. We're not going to hope to be #1. We are going to be #1.
Sir.
Roberto is an example of the well-spoken athlete that we want all our kids to grow up with.
So thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Roberto, for giving us the opportunity to get this interview with you. Okay, and we hope to get much more.
Yes,
Okay, champ?
thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
champ.
guys.
All right, champ.
Thank you, guys.
You want to go the hard way. You want to muscle up. Make it tighter again. You want to go sweaty again the first minute around.
I gotta stop this. How do I stop it?
They push the same thing that you did to start it.